to another edition of our healthcare series. Today, we're going to dive in a little bit deeper and get into a 201 session with a great demo from Dean Peterson, who's joined me from our healthcare team. Dean, what are we going to cover today?
Hi, thank you, Emily. Today, we're going to be showcasing a process that we have improved with Red Hat AI. And what we're doing is we're helping a utilization manager. So we're not removing the human aspect from a prior authorization, but trying to make the person that does prior authorizations be more effective at making that approval occur or have it be denied, but make it so that that time period is shortened and the patient has a better experience. So I can dive right in and show what we have. So I'll go ahead and share my screen.
I'm excited to see what you've got for me today.
All right, thank you. What you're looking at here is a user interface that is not a product from Red Hat per se. So this is a solution that is using technology on the back end that can be used for a number of different use cases. So that's important to keep in mind. We're showcasing this on a utilization manager for prior authorization. But again, it's a very flexible solution that can be used for a number of different use cases. And I do want to quickly show what's on the back end here. And any modern application is going to be using a lot of different technologies and moving parts. And to keep track of that and make sure everything runs smoothly, what you're looking at here is something called OpenShift and OpenShift AI. And another view of this would be, if we were to take a look at it, so we have a number of different assistants and sources of data that are going to help us do this prior authorization. So there's a lot of really sophisticated technology that is behind the scenes, but we're going to make it look pretty simple, and we're going to help the utilization manager do their job. So what we have here is, if we're looking at this, the information about a particular patient that is trying to have a specific procedure. In this case, it's external beam radiation therapy. We want to make sure that we're not missing anything when we go to submit the prior authorization. So the application and the technology helps us fill in all of the blanks and make sure that at a glance, we can see that nothing's missing. If we move to the next step, we have an assistant. So if you go back and look at that architecture diagram, there's an assistant that is able to take structured data from a Neo4j database, collect it, summarize it, and find the patient records, the FHIR records that are associated with the Sarah, who we're trying to do the prior authorization for, and make sure that that isn't something that takes us a long period of time to do. If we go to the next step, we've got our clinical practice guidelines. Clinical practice guidelines, it can be in all manner of format. It could be structured or unstructured. In this case, if we hover over this, you'll see that we have a vector database, and that's just a fancy term for a really powerful search, kind of like a coordinate system that helps us find unstructured information that's most useful and relevant to the type of prior authorization that we're trying to perform. And again, we've got links that are going to be served up that can help us do, as a utilization manager, some further research if we feel that's necessary. And if we go to the next step, we have information about the actual provider for the policy. And again, in this case, we have an assistant that is summarizing some PDF or other unstructured or structured data around that insurance policy. And when we get to the final process here, we have a summarization assistant that is using generative AI and a model to go and take all of the other information that the other assistants were gathering, put it all together, send it to a model, and then we get back a rating score, essentially. How sure we are that this prior authorization should either be denied or approved. And in this case, we get a score of 60. And again, we're not making that decision with an artificial intelligence model. Instead, we're leaving that up to the individual utilization manager to look at all the information. They can go back and do further research, but this just helps speed up the timeline to get to that correct answer. So in this case, I'm going to say, hey, 60 is better than nothing. And I've also done further research, and I'm going to go ahead and approve this prior authorization. So the time to get the customer to the next step is greatly improved and reduced. So in that case, again, I do want to show this one more time. Again, we had a number of assistants that we can also later on improve with something like LangChain or an intelligent router. But in this case, we're using those assistants in succession, and we're kind of manually putting them together. And then we sent all of that information to a summarization assistant. It talks to an LLM that's running on OpenShift as well. And we get back our summarization, our summary. And we come to that conclusion, and it helps us speed up everything. All right, that's what I had to show.
So it sounds like, I'm thinking of this from an end consumer perspective. And as someone who's had a lot of prior authorizations needed lately, it sounds like it really helps the end consumer, the docs, the teams be able to get what they need to get done very, very quickly. But it also, what I'm hearing you say is the real benefits are for the insurance companies, is it's giving the most recent research to them as they need it, allows them to process these much faster and be more accurate in their assessments. Am I hearing you correctly?
No, that's exactly right. You can help in almost every aspect of who needs to find the right information and get it to the right place in general. And so, yeah, that's exactly right. We are able to get the information where it needs to be and just improve the overall process for everyone.
Well, sounds great. Well, thanks for sharing a little bit about what Red Hat AI can do and how it will work for insurance companies. I look forward to it being implemented so I can get my prior auths faster. And we look forward to seeing you on a future episode. Thanks for joining us.